Hey guys, tonight we're going to look at Lessons 3's homework for our Module 6, okay? It says, this table shows the favorite subjects of third graders at Cayuga Elementary. So we have our subjects going down here and the number of students' votes for if it was their favorite subject. It says, use the table to color to the bar graph. So if I come down here, math, look at my scale on the side. Am I counting by ones or am I counting by twos? Hopefully you see that we're counting by twos. Math goes up to 18. So I'm going to color all the way up to the 18. If we count up, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Remember, it's really important with bar graphs that you make sure that you stop at that line, that you don't go over it. Otherwise, you'll be misrepresenting your data. For ELA, there's 13. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. The next one would be 14, and that doesn't work. But what's between 12 and 14? Hopefully you said 13. So we need to cut that bar in half. That's when it's okay to go above the line because you want to be halfway in between 12 and 14. For history, that's another odd number, so we're going to cut a box in half. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Between 16 and 18 is 17, and that's where we want to draw our line. So when you do that, do your best just to draw the line in half of the box first and then color underneath it. Science, they put a question mark up here. I bet I'm going to have to answer that one later. If we look down here for 2A, it says how many students voted for science. Well, let's count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. If I follow the top of their line all the way across, did I get to 14? I did. So 14 students voted for science. The next question wants us to know how many more students voted for math than science. Write a number sentence to show your thinking. So science, we decided that there were, I'm going to put it up here, 14 students. And math was 18. So 18 is my larger number, so I need to put it first. 18 minus 14 equals 4. So how many more students? 4 more students. Oops, 4 more students chose math than science. I could double check my work too by counting up here. 2, 4 gets me up to 18, and that's the difference between our science bar and our math bar. Our last question asks us, which gets more votes, math or ELA together? Oh, I misread that. Let's try that again. Which gets more votes, math and ELA together or history and science together? Show your work. So for math, 18 kids liked math, and ELA, we had 13 kids. If I wants to know that together, do I need to add or subtract? Hopefully you said add. 8 plus 3 is 11. 10, 20, 30. So that would be 31 kids. Versus history, 17 kids liked history. And for science, 14 kids liked science. So 7 plus 4 is also 11. Carry your 1, 10, 20, 30. 31 kids also liked it. Well, that's interesting that I got the same number, so I should probably double check my work one last time to see if I'm right or wrong, if I made any mistakes. So again, I'm looking up here at my table. Math was 18, ELA was 13, 8, 9, 10, 11, write my one from my ones place, carry my other one, 1, 2, 3. So I still got 31. For science, I had 14, and for history, I had 17. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I put my 1 down here, carried my 10s. 1, 2, 3. So, which gets more votes? Well, they're the same, right? So they got the same number of votes. They tried to trick us, but hopefully they didn't get you. Now it's time for us to get some practice on question number 2, reading bar graphs. We're going to look at a bar graph that shows the number of liters of water Skylar uses this month. I drew a little line so that you can see where each of the bar graph ends because it was kind of hard to see with my copy here. So, during which week does Skylar use the most water? If I start here, this is 0 liters of water up to 70 liters. So if I want to know which one she uses the most, it's week 4. This is the biggest bar that we have. So all I have to write is week 4. Least means the smallest amount, and that would be week 3. How many more liters does Skylar use in week 4 than in week 2? Well, I'm going from 0 to 10 on my scale. What's the halfway point between 0 and 10? Hopefully you thought of it as 5. So if I looked at this, I'd have 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, and I can stop there. I started counting by 5s because I know that some of my weeks I'm looking at the halfway points. So the box doesn't go all the way, the whole box isn't shaded in all the way, only half of it is. So I needed to figure out what that value is for those half shaded boxes. Because I knew that week 4 had half of a box shaded in. So between 60 and 70 is 65. So 65 minus, because it wants to know how many more, so I need to find a difference. Week 2 had 50 liters, so 65 minus 50 equals 15 liters. So to write my answer, Skylar used 15 more liters in week 4. Question C says, write a number sentence to show how many liters of water Skylar uses during weeks 2 and 3 combined. So combined means together, so I know I want to add. So week 2, we knew that there was 50 liters, plus in week 3, 40 liters. 5 plus 4 is 9, so 50 plus 40 has to be 90. 90 liters altogether. Write me a complete sentence for that too. You would say something like, Skylar used 90 total liters for weeks 2 and weeks 3. How many liters does Skylar use in total? So for all of our weeks, how many does she use? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to count these up versus doing the math. We know each whole box is 10. So let's just do this. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I'm going to write 100 there. And I'm going to start counting by 10s again. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 again. So I have 2 sets of 100. I'm going to put those down there for my notes. Now if I have a half plus a half, that equals a whole, right? So 5 plus 5 would be 10. 100 plus 100 plus 10 is 210. Let's double check our work by adding those all up together. This was 55 liters. I'm going to start writing those up here so I can add my numbers better. 50 liters. 40 liters and 65 liters. Let's see how we did. 5 plus 5 was 10. 5, 10. 4 plus 1 is 5, so I can go 5, 10, 15. Plus 6 is 11. 5, that's not right, Mrs. Beach. 5, 10, that's 10. 4 plus 6 is 10. Plus 1 is 11. There we go. I was looking at the wrong number, sorry. I still did that wrong. 5 plus 5 is 10. 10 plus 10 is 20. Plus the 1 is 21. That's what we wanted to fix. It should be 210. So it should be 21. Sorry guys, even teachers make mistakes too, don't we? Last but not least, if Skylar uses, oops, I forgot to put my label here, liters. If Skylar uses 60 liters in each of the 4 weeks next month, will she use more or less than she used this month? Show your work. So let's see that again. If Skylar uses 60 liters in each week, so she's going to have 4 groups of 60. How many liters is she going to use? What's 4 times 6? Hopefully you figured out it was 24. So if I have 4 times 60, 4 groups of 60, that's going to equal 240. She's only using 210 liters right now, so she's going to be using more. Let's find out how many more liters she's going to be using. So I did my 240 liters that I found out for this problem. Oops, sorry guys. 240 liters that I found out for this problem. And then I subtracted my 210 liters that I found out from my first problem, and that left me with 30 liters. So Skylar would use 30 more liters if she uses 60 liters in 4 weeks. Because that gave us our difference to show you how many more liters she'd be using. Last but not least, question number 3 wants us to complete the table below to show the data displayed in the bar graph in problem 2. So I took my papers apart so I can kind of see our 2 different bar graphs here. So week 1, I'm just going to write my numbers, 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. In week 1, she used 55 liters. Week 2, she used 50 liters. Week 3, we trace down to 40 liters. And week 4, we trace it down halfway between, remember, so that's 65 liters. I hope that helped with you guys tonight. If you have any questions, don't forget to write them down, and we'll work on it tomorrow in class. Bye.